today I will be talking about going beyond checklist and having a personalized approach for bug bounty hunting and security assessment. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. Next slide. So, currently I am working as security engineer in pharmacy. Earlier, I was working as security analyst in Deloitte, and I do bug bounty hunting regularly. So, if you don't know what pharmacy is, it is an online marketplace for medicines. So, I mean, if you don't know the pharmacy application, so I have already added a video on this. So, I'll just click next. So, yes. So, before going into why different approach matters, I am going to ask you a few questions regarding this thing. So, can anyone tell me what is your normal testing flow for a given star domain? Recon or manual testing, whatever you can say. Hmm? Recon. So, I mean, can you describe what you do in Recon? And then, I mean, the whole process I want to know. Okay, so this is a small part of it. The whole flow is getting all the subdomains through internet, then running nmap ports to find open ports as well, right? Because some applications works on different ports. So after that, we run the live HTTPX tool to get the live subdomain. So after having that list, what we do is we have 3 to 4 options. First, what we do is directory brute forcing, right? So finding hidden directories in the subdomains. And then we do the normal enumeration of files, like using custom files through ff, getting the credentials.txt or some file.txt. And after that, we run the nuclei. Most people run the nuclei template all over this star domain. Why this approach is wrong at the present time? Because since I'm working as an internal part of team, so everyone is implementing these flow. So they run cron jobs. So we on weekly basis or maybe after 2 to 3 days, they do the whole scan on their own. And for other people, they are using WAF, right? But internally, they can access all the staging, prod, all environment, and can already identify these vulnerability that you are going to report through nuclei. So that is why a different approach matters. And as a next one. So as a beginner, what we look for? We look for direct vulnerabilities like XSS, IDOR, race conditions, session-related issues, right? And if you are intermediate or advanced level bug bounty hunter, then we look for RC or chaining the multiple vulnerabilities and account takeovers, etc. So I mean, is this visible to you? The bugbountyhunter.com, these things. Okay. Yes. So there are few subdomain, I mean, few sites that provides us the checklist of how to do bug bounty. So is this on? Okay, so this one is Zedciano methodology, where he describes how he does the bug bounty or security assessment. And next one. And the next one is book.hacktricks.xyz. This is one of the famous checklist for going whenever you are performing a security assessment. So if we write reset password and write hack tricks, so it will give us all the types of bypasses that you can try. And there's one more, which is gothems.gitbook.io. This directory also provides you with the checklist. So now everyone is performing the same thing here. So like, if you are going through these types of checklist, so, and if you are new to a given target, which was there for a long time, so you might end up getting duplicates or not applicable or informative, right? So that is why a different approach matters to while testing. So can you go to the next step? So, I mean, this was the JF that I used. After even getting a valid vulnerability, it might get duplicate. So issues that I will be covering today is how I was able to find an open redirection and bypass it 3 times on a heavily tested domain. So that is the same thing I have written here. And second one I am going to talk about is account takeover of employees portal, and it is in one of the India's largest bank that was there. So for approx 3 to 4 years they were using few APIs that were vulnerable, and they had to take down the whole production environment. And the third one is file upload restriction bypass, which is a simple test case that I haven't seen anywhere that people are performing. So the first issue was how I was able to find and bypass open redirection. So this GIF is actually ek ka double wala scheme, but this time it got x ka triple times. So on a normal, there was a target on HackerOne platform. These are all the HackerOne targets. So the application was having a simple sign up page and only one domain in scope, and it was heavily tested, and they have already given 40,000 plus bounties, 40,000 K, right? So in this there was a normal sign up feature, and user was able to directly log in without any email verification. So after that, what was happening is user was able to access the application, as well as they were getting an email verification link in the backend. So I mean, just back. So in this, I want this session to be a little bit interactive. So can you tell me what are the things that you will try on these API call? There is a simple vulnerability that lies here. Anyone? Is it visible? Can you zoom in a little bit so that API calls?
Maybe we can change email parameter.
Okay, there's no email parameter here right now. I mean, there's token parameter and then others parameter.
Try to change the token values.
Well, the token, yes, we can test for these things, but this was heavily tested and they have a proper fix for this token. It was not a normal encoding. So what are the things that you would try? Okay, I mean, I am already discussing about open redirection issue, so you might can try here. Right. So this redirect after parameter was getting assigned in the URL. So there is one vulnerability which is mass assignment, in which the developer directly assign these types of parameter. Right. So what it means is, if you have a sign up page, so normally what application asks is the username, the email ID and the password, right? But during sign up, these parameters were getting added in the request. Not in the request, in the response, sorry, in this link. So I took this redirect after parameter and I simply, so we have this redirect after parameter here. So it is an on-spot vulnerability here. So if, so the next time I added a new URL with redirect parameter directly. So sign up question mark redirect after http://evil.com. And since it was not having any verification, it directly got redirected to evil.com. So I reported this vulnerability and they fixed it without even asking for retest. So so next time I tried the same thing and the application stopped working. There was nothing there. So I thought maybe they have some filter or something, but if you remember, there's a verification link, right? So here they were not actually sanitizing this. So after clicking the verification link, I was able to again get redirected to evil.com. So, okay, this is the same thing that I have written here. So here, if you look, the redirect after parameter has the same evil.com, and I was able to get redirected after clicking this verification link. And the third one is, okay, so third one was simply they started using a new GraphQL request for registration, and I simply added this in the body parameter, and then again I was able to bypass it. So the main issue that the team or the developer end is they were not asking for retest. So for this, I mean normally on HackerOne they only pay for $50 to $100 for retest. But if you can find any issue which is high medium, I tried escalating it but it was not possible. So if you find any issue and they are not asking for any retest, so you might end up bypassing those systems, those prevention, and you might end up getting a higher bounty. And for a developer's perspective, don't add these type of parameters unless and until user has opted for. Like if someone is from joined request, they have some ID. If someone is actually requesting the user to sign up as a team member, then only expose these types of variable or parameter name. So that is the first thing, first issue. And this one is a little bit interesting, account takeovers on employee portal. So just a second, can I access? So normally in banking applications, they have to share their credential or internal access to other banks as well, because they have some functionality that need these types of access, internal access. So there were two APIs in order to get access to the employee portal. The first one is generating the token, and the second was actually access the employee portal. So now as a security researcher, on which API call you would try to focus? I mean, we are going to attack both these requests, but which one you think that more interesting? Whether it is access to employee portal or the auth token generation? Yeah, so I also focused on the same thing. If I can generate a auth token for any random user, I would be able to get the access to that user account. So yeah. Okay, so this was the first API API request. So here, if you see, there's an action ID, user ID, and encryption unique key, and channel name and random number was there. So on basis of this whole parameter, this was getting generated. So can you tell me what are the test cases that you will try here on this request? I mean, anything you can say, whatever you have experienced or think that might be possible. Okay, changing user ID is one thing. Looking for IDOR basically, and then any other thing that you will try? Randomness, okay. Next thing. So if you can see that encryption unique is this, what are the things that you would try to bypass, decrypt this key? Anything else that you will try on these things? So it is a simple GET request. Okay, so we can try for CORS issues since it is a GET request. So we can try these things. Sorry. Okay, so we can try for CORS and other attacks, but this one, basic attack that nobody actually try. Have you ever heard that all the top hackers saying that you should increase your attack surface area? By doing recon, we are actually getting multiple domains to attack, right? But here, if you, you have to do vice versa. So after you gathered all these subdomains through for your attack surface, increasing attack surface area, now you should actually reduce it as well. So I simply started seeing what are the parameters that are mandatory for generating this token. So I started removing this random number value, then channel number, channel value. So when I was removing this random number, it was giving error. But when I was removing the whole parameter, then it was giving actually the proper token. So so one second. And this was the second request. So if you see, there's a security token present here in the request. Not able. Okay, so if you see, this is the security token that is present in the request, which was getting generated in the previous request. So after that, it was giving 200 okay, right? So in the first request, I removed the whole parameter value. So this request only contains the user ID and the channel and random number. The key encryption key was missing, and it was still generating me the token. So actually the developer doesn't added the if statement, whether if the encryption key is present or not. So if it is not present, it should actually give error, right? Key encryption key is not there. But if it is not giving any error, that means that the if command is missing from the code. So this is how I was able to generate the security token for all the users, and by simply using it on this. So again, I started removing the parameters here as well. So the encryption key is missing from here. So simply using the security token, I was able to get access to the whole employee portal. So this is simple issue, but the method or the approach that you normally use is a little bit different here. So every time try to remove some parameters to get what is the mandatory parameters to make the request. So through this, I was able to actually get the whole portal access here on the production server, and I tried the rate limit issue, I mean the normal brute forcing request on user ID. So changing the user ID, I was able to get the auth token for all the users. So after this, they had to actually take down the production server, and I mean that is it. So normally we test on staging, but since this issue was there on production server as well, so they had to take down the whole server, and it was down for at least 1 or 2 days before they fixed this thing. And since it is a banking application, it is quite at risk getting the employee access. So this was the same thing that I shown you. And there's the last one, which is file upload restriction bypass. Okay, I hope it is visible. So if you notice, this file upload functionality is all over the applications. I mean, if you take Twitter, HackerOne, any platform, you have 2 to 3 places where you can upload files. So let's say if it is a HackerOne, you can upload for avatar, you can upload a random file for any issue, right? So all these things are there, and it is heavily tested already. Since it is a public, it is already tested by multiple testers. And if they have found anything, so developers have fixed it through standard logic that is already present all over the internet, right? So after this, there's one request that I had. I'll show you that. So this was the first request. So I want you to tell me what are the things that you are going to try. So this was the first request of upload, and then there's this one, which was actually giving us the URL. So basis on these two things, what are the things that you will try here? So if you want, I will. So this is the get request, and this is the URL path, I mean file path that is there. So what are the things that you will try on this request? Okay, I mean, yes, we bypassing these things like file name and content type or image data, right? So this will work. And what are the things that you will focus on? There are multiple parameters, right? So which parameter you are going to focus on? Anyone? Sorry? Hmm? Delete? Okay, delete method. Okay, I mean, I was not actually asking for what are the methods, but actually just about the restriction upload. But that is one thing that we can try. Okay, changing file name to path, which I mean, path travels, right? Okay, so yes, we can try that thing, but it was actually giving us the error. And I have found a similar issue on HackerOne as well. So, but it got duplicate. Someone reported it. So, if we notice in the GET request, there is the type name which is Aadhaar card, and it is also present here. No, actually, the file name is not getting the R file name is not getting uh, accepted by the system. It is assigned its own value. Yes, it is constant. Okay, so actually you were on the right path. So this issue was since I saw that okay, in the end they are assigning Aadhaar card.jpg. So I simply changed it to one second. So I changed it to actually dot slash path traversal. So which actually bypass the whole protection mechanism, because they have this protection mechanism on that Aadhaar card name, parameter name. So through that way, I was able to actually host an HTML file on the root path. So any user visiting this .html file would get this access token leaked to my servers. And this is the HackerOne report. So in this request, if you notice that the name parameter is user profile picture. Sometimes it's normal file name, but here it is user profile picture. And if I am uploading an HTML file, then it is giving me unprocessable entity because they have prevention, right? The HackerOne team has this prevention. So if I change it to anything else than the specified data, I was actually able to upload this file. So the same content, but the name parameter is different, and the whole mechanism was bypassed. So I mean the logic that I understood is the applications and the company have prevention mechanism and they cannot use it everywhere for code optimization. So they assign a prevention mechanism and they simply use it wherever they are calling a file upload. So if you are uploading a file without any name parameter or any random value, so application will directly accept it without even thinking about it what the file is. So that is how I was able to upload the I mean this is new test case that I haven't found on any Hactrix or anywhere else. So this is the third issue that I got. Okay, so on the summary from the first issue I wanted you to learn that watch out for hidden parameters. So there are n numbers of open redirection issues on sign up and registration pages. So let me give you an example of it. So if I open BXSS Hunter, that is blind XSS, And if you log in into this, how to find, I mean, it is a simple tip of how to find if there's any parameter that is there, which we can use to get accesses or open redirection issues. So if I log in into this account, okay, so I have access the application, and just to get what are the, I mean, is there any parameter available, I will simply log out from this and I will simply press the back button 1 or 2 times, right? So it, just a second. So actually it is not showing right now. So here it sometimes gives the new parameter. Like if the user is not logged in and user want to navigate to, let's say, setting, account setting, so they will simply add a next parameter over here that will say that, okay, after login you can directly go to the account and setting page. Sorry. So if you see here, the message field is there, so you can actually perform simple XSS attacks. Here it is not happening. I just wanted to show you that through this method you can find this extra variable parameters here that you can try on. And so the first, through open redirection vulnerability, I wanted you to watch out for hidden parameters that are visible in response from the application. And through second attack, that account takeover, you should actually minimize your attack surface area after having a API request or any specific functionality. So you, through that, I mean, most people actually try 1 or 2 parameter modifying and then they move on to the next request. But if you actually get what are the required parameters by the request, then you can actually focus on the main key parameters here. And through third one, it is like thinking out of the box, nothing else. The file upload functionality was there, and this file name parameter nobody actually tested, since the name equal to file name is written. So if you can think from a developer perspective, you are going to get a little bit of non-traditional issues that is there. And through this I have actually reported it to 3 to 4 programs till now. So you can use this one test case on your file upload bypass. That is it from my end for this. Does anyone have any questions regarding this thing?